Sugar and spice and everything nice. That's what
CDs are that way too.
One baby to another says I'm lucky to meet you. I don't care what you think unless it's about me. Well, it's now a duty to completely train you. I travel through to an end in your affection. Passing back and forth in a thousand kills from my mouth beyond like you. If I dilated, I become your pupil. You taught me everything without poison apple. Student, and then it ends,
This is our new guitar player. His name is Pat Smear. You have to tune these things.
Mom and Dad went to a show, dropped me off at Grandpa Joe's. Kicked and screamed, so please to go. Grandma, take me home. 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 Mama, can I leave my dinner bed? Have potatoes and stuff like that. Couldn't you want me to do? Grandma, take me home. 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 I wanna be alone. I don't just stop you crying. Oh, I sat around your back. That's what I did. I killed my tongue. Grandma, take me home. 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 Wanna be alone. After dinner, I had ice cream. Fell asleep and watched TV. Woke up in my mother's arms. Grandma, take me home. 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 Grandma, take me home.
The bumper sticker says, "Why be normal?"
I'm on my time with everyone. I have very laxatives, cherry flavored antacids. Selling drink, Pennyroyal Tea. Stay alive, that's inside of me. Selling drink, Pennyroyal Tea. I'm a leaving royalty. Your eyes again. 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 No reason. No reason. No reason. No reason. No reason. No reason. No reason.
Trying to what? We're rolling out.
Wow.
So, like, how was the first show? I thought it was really good. I heard you guys out there saying, oh, first 5 songs, or someone was pitching. What's it like to start a tour now, today?
Well, today with all the lighters out there, I felt like we were doing Aerosmith Dream On or something. I felt like
Like
Tom
Aerosmith?
Hamilton, yeah, the bass player from Aerosmith.
Have you done stadiums anywhere before, like when you're in Europe or in Asia?
Oh yeah, we did a stadium. It was like 110,000 people in Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Find the source.
And we had a mental breakdown on stage and played Seasons in the Sun. And we played Her Name is Rio and She Dances in the Sand by Duran Duran. Remember that time we did that thing?
I went mass.
That
That was a lot of fun.
It was fun.
It was great.
Kurt, you sang Seasons in the Sun?
Kurt rubbed his pee-pee on
Did
the
I
camera.
sing? Yes, I did. I don't know the words. but
Played drums too.
One of the only singles I can remember from my childhood that
What's
I used
the-
to cry to.
What's the best lyric in that song?
It's
though?
such an emotional song.
It was like the best lyric.
Goodbye, Papa. It's hard to die.
But the stars on the beach were, I forget how it goes.
With the stars on the beach, we're just no. The starfish on the beach were the stars out of reach, or something
Wow.
like that.
What do you mean?
The wow really made
Don't you get it?
I don't know. 'Cause all I know is that there's a better song on the B side of that single called "Put the Bone In."
The bone. It's about a guy's dog who gets hit by a car, and they ask him to put the bone in the grave with the dog.
Did you see the new flip side of Gigi Allen's funeral in it?
No.
Yeah.
He's sitting there.
It's all bloated.
Yeah.
Sitting there.
Open casket?
Yeah, and he's got a jockstrap on that says "Eat Me." And they're we put a Walkman on Gigi's head so he can listen to some tunes on his way to the grave. He probably had Nevermind on there.
So Dave, you're saying you're playing and
So
all of a
long,
sudden
silly boy.
you look up and you see yourself on the big screen. Is that sort of like you stop and you look and go, oh, or how is
I
that?
just kind of felt like I was a fucking hockey player on a big screen with a Budweiser sign above it. I don't know, it was funny.
I noticed that Reba McEntire's playing here pretty soon.
Ah.
I saw that on the marquee.
Can't miss that.
That's when you look to the sound man and he puts all this echo on your toms and you go doo 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 doo, and everyone's like.
Well, see, what I was trying to do, but you guys didn't have enough ESP. I was trying to get up, when I was standing on top of the PA speakers on those columns, I was trying to do a solo, like arena rock solo.
It was the Led Zeppelin solo.
Yeah.
Did you notice it?
Yeah.
Heartbreaker.
Oh, I picked
went,
up on that.
I don't know how to play it, but
I picked up on that in
God.
Sao Paulo, and I started
was
do
impressed.
do 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 do. It was like
I don't
totally
know.
awesome.
What can you do when you're in that kind of situation, you know? I thought I'd one last time test the audience to see if I could jump into it, and I failed. It's not working. It just, you know, and I stood there for a long time, and I know they couldn't read my mind, but I was trying to, like, with my eyes, trying to tell them, don't hurt me. I'm just, can't you tell? I mean, haven't you read enough bitching from us for the last year that we're not rock stars, you know, we're not trying to be, although we did display a lot of rock star things today. But
One time
although we are playing
I don't like guys touching me.
So Kurt, so when you fell, 'cause you didn't really jump that hard, you just sort of like laid down into them. I mean, what happened to you?
They immediately just started grabbing for me and trying to rip my flesh off for souvenirs, you know. Oh, I have a piece of Kurt's forearm. Frame it. I don't know.
So like you have an arrangement with like your guys on the side of the stage that come lift me out. It looked like you were
No.
sort of playing while they're pulling on you and you're holding on to the guitar.
Well, I think that's a reaction from the people that work with us to try to save me, you know, when I do stupid things like that. They're never prepared for it. It wasn't like before the show I said I'm going to do that, you know. I was really, for a long time, obviously I was contemplating whether I should do it or not, but I just wanted to try to do, because it used to be so much fun in clubs, reminiscing about the old days, but, you know, I used to be able to jump out in the audience, and then the audience would, like, carry me all the way to the back. I'd, like roll around all the way to the back, and it was really fun, and it was like a celebration, like, everyone's jumping, you know, throwing
like a
up in
big
the air and
beach ball.
everything, yeah. Like a beach ball at an arena rock concert, but these kids just, some of them just don't understand that. They're not used to that, so is all they know how to do is to tear people apart. So.
Not talking about clubs like the old days, but just the distance. I mean, it seems like I was looking at, I think from you to the audience is about 15 feet.
Not quite that. Not that
Does
that
it
much.
feel distant?
It does feel 15 feet, but it's not really 15 feet. It's about 6 feet. But what was your question?
Look, do you notice, is there a trade-off, you know, in playing I mean, you're playing arenas, obviously it's a lot of people, you know, what are the, you know, I want to hear you talk about the difference in the mind of the audience, how close you are from them, and can you see the people, you know, I mean, like, you can see the people who are catching off the spill lights, but, you know, 40 yards away, you know, 400 feet away, I mean, do you have a sense of that? Do you feel the energy? Is it great? Is it void? What's that?
Oh yeah, I can feel it. I can sense it, and at certain times when the house lights come on during certain parts of the song, I can see everyone. Especially like, I think Lithium's a good example, because when we break into the distortion part, the lights turn on and I can see everybody jump up and down, and I realize that it's not only just the front part that I can see, but the whole audience, and it's great. I mean, there's nothing better than, you know, that much of a capacity of people, you know, in tune with the band and giving off that much energy. It's just like a little club, but 100 times more. You know?
They were singing good,
So-
too. There were times.
Yeah, they always sing during Lithium, which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
Or if they don't speak English, they go, hey.
That was English. No.
Yeah, but I mean, like if you're in Timbuktu or somewhere, Kathmandu.
Are you guys, is this an arena tour?
We're playing some
Not really.
theaters.
It says arena on a lot of the shows on the itinerary, but they're like 5,000-6,000 seat places.
They just say
which
that
don't
to
really
make us feel
constitute
like
for
we're
arena.
popular.
Yeah, they just put arena down there so we feel better.
9:30 Club Arena.
There's some miniatures, yeah, like in Worcester, it's got like a miniature Madison Square Garden. It's about 5,000 seats, but it's laid out like this. It's just shrunk. Did you guys think of playing smaller places?
We did, and there was also like the reality of it too. It's like,
Well,
that's where we could.
we wanted to for sure. I mean, we were determined about a year and a half ago after getting off of, the grueling tour that we had, that we wanted to play. Well, first of all, we were going to put out a record that would completely, ruin our reputation, and only a few thousand people from every city would show up, But that wasn't the case, and then we realized that because of the production costs and because we have to bring our own lights and our own PA and all that stuff, it costs a lot of money. And if we were to just play like venues and clubs and stuff, we'd be totally in the hole, We're not nearly as rich as everyone thinks we are, so you have to try to play as big a place as you can if you're using this kind of production. I mean, we actually have we have a couple mannequins on stage, which is nothing compared to a big inflatable monster, or an Eddie from Iron Maiden, but...
So do you have like backups? Let's say, took some shots at the one.
What?
Anatomical stuff usually isn't too cheap. when you were smashing the
Well,
one
they can
up,
glue it back together.
Yeah.
It comes together, well, it looks glued together. I
Duct
guess.
tape.
Right.
You're talking about audience. I mean, I seem to remember you guys talking at some point about when you get an audience larger than a certain size, you start attracting people that maybe isn't your audience. Remember the bass player in Jane's Addiction going off about it, Lollapalooza, and all these people you never wanted to play to, coming to his shows. Is that something that comes up for you? Is that, maybe that's an ugly question? And
Well, it is an ugly question, but what kind of ugly answer can I give?
I don't know, live,
No,
I just,
Go ahead.
it just seems like
It
you
doesn't.
just feed off of the crowd. It's live, it's not like you're sitting there vindictive or something, or like contemplative. You're there because you're concentrating on the song, and there's a lot of people there having fun, and it's just kind of like a reciprocal thing.
I think the point that we're trying to put off in the beginning of when we were doing all those interviews when Nevermind was getting really popular was that we were really concerned with the people who wanted to come to see our shows and have a good time. We were afraid that there would be these fringe, mean type of people who don't really like the music, but just go to the shows to cause trouble. We didn't want that, and we didn't want to have like security to like beat up on people to keep them in line and stuff. But since we've had the experience and since we've played a bunch of shows like this, there hasn't been any trouble. So we're relieved of that kind of pressure. So that's the only concern that we really had, but it obviously translated into we hate our audience, which is bullshit.
And there's a meeting like before every show between our like road managers and the security people, and they're saying like some kid comes over the top, anybody who gets too violent, you just grab a person and you just like sit them down and you walk them over to the side.
Yeah,
we want
you
to see
don't push them or kick them or
any kind of nasty violence whatsoever, because that just escalates and people see that and they get appalled. We see that, we get appalled. It just drags the whole show down.
We've been in
they had
plenty
said
of
at
spats.
the top of the show, it seemed pretty reasonable. They're saying like, if you come over once, they're gonna, carry it inside. They were saying you can come over twice. The second time they would eject you. But
A lot of times they don't have any control over that. The kids don't have any control over that. They're being pushed over, So it's not their fault. I've noticed like in a lot of places, like especially like in England and a lot of those festivals in Europe, the bouncers seem to be a lot more accommodating to kids. They're really cautious and not making sure that they're not really mean or abusive to the kids. But in the States, we run into a lot of problems before. I mean, I've actually gotten in total fist fights with them before and like had to be saved by my manager and and stuff like that, because I can't think of anything worse. There's nothing worse than seeing some kid getting beat up on just because he got pushed over the side,
Plus just some violent meathead.
to come back to the audience question, I wanted to go to a different angle. People also talked about selling out when you got big. The whole idea of that, if a band, if you sell more than a certain number of records, there's something wrong. It doesn't seem to be following you anymore, is it? I mean, or do you hear that, or people saying, oh, you've done something in order to be commercially successful?
It's too far beyond that now. I mean, it's been going on for so long. There's nothing we can do about it. That issue doesn't even come up anymore.
You said before, let's make a record to, like, these weren't your words, but to blow away that audience. And the 8 million people who bought our record, let's get rid of I don't know, 7.5 million, whatever you're thinking.
Yeah.
So when you say that, what do you mean?
Well, when I said that, like I said, the main reason was to make sure that we could have a good time at live shows, and we just weren't comfortable with it at the time, And now that it's been proven to us that there aren't any problems at shows, then it doesn't matter, Obviously, the people are behaving themselves. Maybe the message got across to them somehow. Maybe all that bitching and complaining that we did may have worked a little bit,
So you weren't talking about wanting to alienate or lose most of your...
I was in the beginning, about a year and a half ago. I was completely fed up with the whole thing. I didn't want to be a rock star at all. It was freaking me out, But I've had 2 years to recuperate.
Yeah. You also hope you transform somebody too, if they see you, if you're saying something, they might think about it and react to it.
Now, when the camera isn't on you, you're quite animated and interested. So, how was the show for you tonight?
I loved it.
You look like you were bouncing around.
I had a good time.
Are you the one who was hit in the head? Who got hit in the head with the stick pin?
Not me.
Me.
How did someone get to the neck or back?
I don't know.
I got a bra.
Whoa.
My first bra.
My first bra.
I got a Germs t-shirt.
Someone's wearing a Germs t-shirt? Are you serious?
Cool.
Wow.
Great.
That's
Used.
pretty cool.
It was used.
Yeah.
There are a lot of shoes coming over.
Yeah, what's with shoes? Who would throw their shoes?
I don't know. And there's only one that comes up.
I know what. They go home with hopping.
At first I thought it was people just losing them coming over. They were flying over. People were staying back there the whole night.
You other shoes on the side of the road when you're driving, you see a shoe there. Oh, there's that other shoe. Should have picked up that other one there.
This covers me for questions I want to ask about the tour. There's some other things I'd like to try and see if they're not too taxing or stuff. Is there stuff about the tour, this show, that you think we should talk about that we haven't?
What do we talk about? Nicotine addiction.
Nicotine addiction. So, I mean,
Slave to the tobacco
a little more
industry.
plush on the road. I mean, are you staying in nice hotels? Do you like that? Would you rather be sleeping in a van? I mean, is that experience?
Oh yeah, we wouldn't rather be sleeping in a van. We've done that
We've done that
for
enough.
years. Enough, yeah.
I mean, if we were still doing it, fine, we'd still be doing it. But we've made a point to sleep on the bus as much as possible because buses are kind of expensive. So we're not staying in hotels as much as we would normally, or a lot of other bands would. So.
Get one of these full decked out tour buses.
Oh yeah, yeah, one of those typical.
With an
VCR.
airbrush mural on the side.
Well, you guys don't. There's nothing on the side of your bus.
No, smoking bus.
I remember,
Smoking bus.
I remember a few years ago, when we were lugging around our own equipment in a van, like 5 people cooped up in a van with our own equipment. We would see a band with a big bus and go, man, what a bunch of gluttonous bastards, what a waste. Those things must cost hundreds of thousands of dollars a day,
I went pissed on somebody's their air vent one time, this one band. I don't know
Because
who
they
they
keep
were.
the van
I go,
on.
look at these rock stars. And I sit there and I pissed on it, like, ah. We fired up
But
our
a lot of
battered
that's just
van.
out of spite, and also I looked into it, and how do I explain this? If we were to stay in a hotel every night, let's say we stayed in a van, we drove in a van and stayed in a nice hotel every night, it would equal out the same. If we didn't rent a bus and stayed on the bus most of the time. So what's the difference,
Okay, I was talking to Chris about this before. I wanted to ask about why you released the album in vinyl and did that first. And whether is that a vinyl thing, is it a fidelity thing, or what is it about?
Oh, we just love vinyl. I only still buy vinyl. The only CDs I own are CDs that have been given to me. I just love vinyl. It's just something
This
I hold
year,
sacred to my heart.
this year I got a linear tracking turntable. Sounds so good. Yeah, it sounds really good. Where was I with all these years without one? And it seems like there's this kind of tone thing to vinyl. You listen to like old ZZ Top
That's
records or whatever, the
that's
drums
right.
are really harsh. And now they remixed, like they reissued
Oh,
all these
yeah.
ZZ Top records.
And they
All the records are boom, 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 boom. It's like terrible.
Yeah, they're backing some stuff up with digital samples. So I asked because we did a story early this year about, some people always saying,
Yeah, that
sounds
was a
better.
great story. I
See
saw
that?
that.
I
Yeah.
did that.
And you used the Nirvana record as an
Well,
example.
what happened was I was standing there and they're playing me these records that they're great mastered CDs and great pieces of vinyl. And I'm hearing Eric Clapton, this and that. I said, yeah, what would Smells Like Teen Spirit sound like on a system like that? I'll never hear that, And the guy goes, no, well, actually, and that was because I was a cynic. I was like, you're a bunch of old cranks, you're full of shit. And there's just all sorts of. I'm not hearing this on $1 million system, you
Right.
never hear this. But I stood up and said, it's a different mix, and it was just tremendous. And I went on to other things, but that was what we talked about in the piece with the needle drop. Because
And you made a fool out of Dave Mustang.
Dave, well,
That was
Mustang.
funny. It was
Dave,
hot though.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
He said his whole speech, and then afterwards that you
Made an
basically
asshole
said,
out of it.
"What an idiot."
I gave him a chance. I actually contacted him and said, we did this thing, but we have to do it before and after, so I'm looking at full. He was going to take a swing at me. But there's like a technical reason why digital still doesn't sound as good. It could sound better than vinyl, but it doesn't.
Right.
And it's not gonna. Okay.
One hit left.
Incesticide. Well, I'm also like a Shun and Knife person. I do the Shun and Knife piece every year, and you guys have supported Shun and Knife. You've been seeing t-shirts. You talked about them in the liner notes on Incesticide. And just for the next time I do a piece on them, I'd love to get a bite from you guys about why they're great, why people should pay attention to them if you're still fans.
Oh God, how do you explain something as pure as that? I'm at a loss for words when that subject comes up.
When did you first
Because
hear them?
a long time ago, when their first cassette came out on K Records.
Maybe.
There's just something, when we took them on tour with us in England, it was weird because obviously probably 90% of the whole audience had never heard of them before, and instantly they were just taken in by them. They're almost crying, you could just see everyone just like completely fucking amazed by them, and it's just, I don't know what it is. It's just something that you can't explain. It's something that's really, really sincere and good. That blah, 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 blah. You can't put it in words. They're just really, really good.
They're going to come through in the fall to the States. We're trying to grab them again, but every time they do anything, we put them on. Okay, now we're going to start getting one more serious question, two sillies. Someone at the station is doing a piece on men wearing dresses in rock and roll this year, and they're mostly doing a RuPaul thing, but they asked me to ask you about why on stage would you choose to wear a dress?
Comfortable. I don't know. Just
Rolling Stones wore dresses.
it's nothing. Yeah, it's nothing new. It's been going on for years and years and years, and I don't understand why it's such an issue still. But it seems like when bands do it now, even when we do it, it's so exhausted, It's, I don't know. I personally like to wear dresses, and I wear them around the house sometimes. So whatever.
The one dress I own, girl Courtney gave it to me 10
Really?
years ago. Well, she didn't give it to me. She left it at my house.
She has
I
good
kept
taste in
it.
dresses.
Excellent. Norma Kamali. Looks so good on me.
I don't know. I guess it's just I think a lot of bands do it just to show their support of femininity, the female gender, and I did it the first time when we played with the Chili Peppers and Pearl Jam when we went on that tour with them, because at that time I was at the height of like freaking out about playing big places, and I was certain, I was convinced that a lot of people out there in the audience were a lot of macho people that would freak out over it, so I thought it might create a little bit of controversy, but I don't know if it did or not.
Two last questions. One, what was I told?
That's a heavy question.
This is, yeah. The second question is Frank Sinatra. I'll ask the second question first. We're having Frank Sinatra on the show, and we're asking people if they know who he is, care who he is.
Wow.
Any man, any Frank Sinatra?
You know what I like about Frank Sinatra? It was like back in the 50s when Sammy Davis Jr. would show up at a hotel with like what were they called? The
Rat Pack.
The Rat Pack, and then the hotel people would be prejudiced against Sammy Davis Jr. and Frank Sinatra. The big boss man would walk up there and say, "Hey, listen, Sammy stays here." And they'd be like, "Okay, Mr. Sinatra." So I always respected that about him.
They didn't want to get their heads blown off or something.
I've never heard of him. I only like Harry Connick Jr.
Yeah. Well, see, yeah. Well, you see, what else about Frank Sinatra that was good? Sammy Davis Jr. Did he do Shirley MacLaine?
Okay.
In another life.
In another.
I have 60 seconds. Okay, 2 quick questions. One, the heart-shaped box video, Christ image or anything, was that your idea, director's idea? I'm seeing a thumb.
Don't ask me about it. Just
What's
some images.
your interpretation?
Just some images I've had in my mind for years. It's a kind of a way of expressing our views on prejudice, you know. And I don't know. I just thought it was a bunch of neat images. You know.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's fine.
I really don't know. Actually, we had this African American woman called up our management and was really concerned about it. She didn't understand. She said, first of all, she started off the call with like saying, I consider myself one of the only African American Nirvana fans. You know, I think of myself as one of the only, you know, real true Nirvana fans, and I'm really disturbed about this. I don't know what they're trying to mean, you know, and what they're saying. And our manager had to like go on this big spiel about, no, don't worry about it. It's pro.
Hey, there's an African American lives on my block. His name is Mike Mweezy or something like that, and he's from Nigeria.
Mweezy, that sounds.
He's from Nigeria. He's a genuine African American.
Here,
From Africa.
Yeah, he's from Africa.
Well, then he's an African.
He's an African.
He's an African American.
He's
Off the paper question was.
Are you bored, Alex?
Question: Are you and Eddie Vedder friends now? Have you always been friends? What's up with
We
you,
never had a fight ever. I've always hated their band.
But it's not like you're friends or anything.
No, well, I mean, I can consider him a person that I really like. I mean, we've had a few conversations on the phone. I really like him. I think he's a really nice person.
He's come over to my
Yeah.
house a few times.
And he's doesn't take exception that you don't like his band.
I don't think he really cares. I mean, I don't know. I can't say that now. I didn't like him a lot then when I was talking shit about him all the time, but now I can appreciate him, you know. I mean, I've realized that, you know, the same people that like our band like their band, so why create some kind of feud over something?
We just might do a
trite
tour
as that,
together.
you know?
Like Metallica and Guns N' Roses did a tour. We're gonna have a Pearl Jam Nirvana tour.
When they did they're doing now the vinyl before the CD release, was that, I mean, is it just a good thing it's happening? I mean, to many people watching, people who are Pearl Jam and Nirvana.
Well, that was kind of a compromise. The label said, "Well, we're postponing your album." We're like, "Oh no, we want our album out." And like one of their compromises was, "Well, we'll put the vinyl out." The way it was, so it was like it wasn't really calculated. It was like some vinyl love. Or,
I just feel sorry for the kids that have to decide on what they should buy within these next 2 months, either our record or our concert tickets or Pearl Jam's record. You know, that's a lot of money for kids to shell out all of a sudden. I mean, I know I couldn't have afforded it when I was 15 or 16, you know. So I feel really bad about that. I wish we could have somehow like made a deal somehow, like we could have put our record out a little bit earlier and they could have maybe spaced it out a little bit longer, you know?
like the Beatles and Rolling Stones, you say.
Yeah.
Buy one, get one.
Who's the Beatles and who's the Rolling Stones?
Wouldn't that be nice?
In our new
I mean,
magazine,
I'm
Nervous,
not
there's
blaming,
Nirvana
I'm not
versus Pearl Jam.
putting Pearl Jam down for putting the record out this soon or anything. It's not their fault, I'm sure, you know. But it's just, I just feel sorry for the kids that have to, you know.
They got
put
4
up
out
the
of
money
4
for it.
stars in USA Today.
Tickets and records.
Whoa.
Thank you.
Hey,
very
but you
much.
know, Jesus Lizard is playing.
Really?
Where's Kennedy? Doesn't she do this
So
usually?
clever on.
No, she doesn't do this.
Okay, bye.
Thank you very much.
For you there.
What?
Someone you've been waiting.